When people asked Samuel why he never locked his shop door, he always smiled and changed the subject. The truth was harder to explain. Samuel owned a small repair shop on a quiet street in Sheffield. He fixed radios, old clocks, broken lamps, things most people had already given up on. His shop smelled of dust and oil, and time seemed to move slower inside. 20 years earlier, his son, Aaron, had walked out through that same door. Aaron was 17, angry, talented, and convinced the world was waiting for him somewhere else. Samuel wanted him to finish school, to have security. Aaron wanted freedom. The argument started over dinner and ended at the door. "I won't live a small life," Aaron shouted. Samuel replied quietly, "I just want you safe." Aaron slammed the door and left. He never came back. At first Samuel called. Then he wrote letters. Then he waited. Years passed. Samuel's wife died quietly in her sleep. The house became too silent, so Samuel spent longer hours at the shop. He kept the door unlocked just in case. People laughed. "What are you afraid of?" they asked. Samuel wasn't afraid. He was hopeful. One rainy evening, a young man stepped into the shop just before closing time. His coat was soaked, his hands shaking slightly. "Sorry," the man said. "I saw the light on." Samuel looked up and his breath caught. It wasn't Aaron, but it was close enough. The man needed a radio fixed. As Samuel worked, they talked. The man spoke about moving city to city, failed plans, broken relationships. About running from expectations, about regret. Samuel listened quietly. Before leaving, the man asked, "Why don't you lock the door?" Samuel paused. "Because someone I love once walked out," he said. "And I don't want him thinking he can't walk back in." The man nodded slowly and left. That night, Samuel sat alone in the shop long after closing time. 2 weeks later, another stranger entered. This time, Samuel didn't look up immediately. He was tightening a screw, his hands steady from decades of practice. "Dad?" The voice was older, rougher, familiar. Samuel froze. He looked up. Aaron stood there, thinner, tired, eyes carrying years of stories and regret. "I didn't know if you'd want to see me," Aaron said. Samuel didn't speak. He simply walked forward and hugged his son as tightly as his aging arms allowed. They cried, not loudly, not dramatically, just the kind of quiet crying that releases years of pain. Aaron stayed that night, then another, then longer. He told Samuel about the world outside, the successes that never lasted, the mistakes that taught him too late, the loneliness that followed him everywhere. "I thought freedom meant leaving," Aaron said. "Turns out it meant knowing where I belong." They fixed things together, radios, clocks, and something deeper. One morning, Aaron reached for the door lock. Samuel shook his head. "Leave it open," Aaron smiled. "Because sometimes the strongest doors are the ones left unlocked, not from weakness but from love."